Everyone, it's wonderful to be here with all of you today, sharing thoughts on the importance of cultivating self-discipline and sticking to our commitments, especially when circumstances become challenging. I want to start by taking you back to a time in my life when I struggled to uphold my own sense of discipline and how that experience nearly derailed everything I was working toward. Many people look at my career and imagine only the successes, assuming my path was always clear. However, the truth is that I've encountered numerous instances where the only force that kept things from collapsing altogether. Early on, during one of the more desperate phases of launching SpaceX, confronted a pivotal moment when launches repeatedly failed, costs soared, and investors grew wary. At the same time, Tesla was in its infancy, straining under pressure, proving itself to a market that wasn't quite ready to believe in electric vehicles. I found myself cornered by timelines, finances, and technical disasters, all competing for my attention and threatening to tear everything apart. Worst of all, I felt my own resolve weakening as exhaustion set in. I remember walking through the factory late at night, stepping around half-assembled parts of battery packs, trying to figure out whether any of this was truly worth it. Repeated disappointment had tested my faith. My belief in the bigger picture was still there, but I was so tired physically and mentally that I had started to question whether I even had the strength to continue. It felt like the world was on my shoulders, with countless employees relying on me, not to mention friends, family, and partners whose reputations were on the line. In that bleak moment, discipline was slipping, and I was tempted to find an easier path, one where the burdens were lighter and the nights less sleepless. Breakthrough moment arrived after an especially painful series of rocket trials. On the surface, it looked like yet another failure, but beneath it, the data revealed significant progress. Had almost reached orbit before the critical error occurred. We were so close that, with only a few more tweaks and tests, success seemed genuinely achievable. Seeing that glimmer of hope, I realized that if I gave up now, all of that increment improvement would go to waste. The next morning, I renewed my commitment to the vision. I promised myself that no matter how weary or discouraged I felt, I would push forward to the next launch. In sticking to that promise, I discovered a storehouse of discipline that I never knew I had. Looking out at everyone here today, I can see the ambitious glimmer in your eyes. Each one of us has plans, dreams, and commitments we've made to ourselves, to our teams, and perhaps to a bigger vision of what the world can become. Yet discipline can waver when life hits hard. That's why we need to talk about how to remain steadfast, even in moments of deep fatigue or fear. I stand before you as someone who has wrestled with these challenges firsthand, and I want to connect with you on a personal level. You might not be launching rockets or building electric cars, but I suspect you're forging your own path with similar stakes. The struggles may involve running a startup, balancing personal and professional responsibilities, or daring to bring a groundbreaking idea into the world. Regardless of the specifics, the principle is the same. Discipline is that unshakable force that keeps you in the game long enough to see your commitment come to fruition. I pose that we chart a new path together. Let's explore how discipline can be nurtured like a muscle that grows stronger with consistent training. Let's dissect strategies rooted in real-world successes, honest failures, and everything in between. Over the course of our time together, I'll share a detailed framework that I've seen work in multiple industries, from aerospace to software to personal development. We'll unlock 5 key insights, each offering a unique lens on discipline. We'll approach them through discovery, storytelling analysis, interaction, and problem solving, ensuring a balanced blend of theory and practical application. By the end, I hope you'll carry forward a more fortified sense of self-discipline, ready to stick to your commitments no matter what comes your way. Now, dive in the core of our discussion and break down 5 central points that illuminate different dimensions of cultivating self-discipline. The goal is to give you a well-rounded perspective on what it takes to remain committed, even under the most grueling pressure. First, let's explore the concept of self-discipline through a discovery lens. Begin with a question: have you ever wondered why some individuals seem to make good on their promises, no matter how difficult, while others find it nearly impossible to stay on course? To understand this, I want to share a quick case study from the early days of Tesla. We had a dedicated engineer who came from a background in mechanical design. When we were just starting to experiment with electric drivetrains, that individual worked day and night to optimize the layout of our powertrain. The reason? He recognized that any inefficiency in our design would translate into lost range or performance on the road. Despite constant revisions to the specs, supply chain hiccups, and tests that destroyed prototypes, he remained undeep-yielding in his mission. We realized his approach hinged on discipline. Methodically logging every failure, iterating on each design, and refusing to cut corners, practical solutions emerged from that unwavering consistency. He'd run small experiments daily instead of saving them for large. In frequent trials, he didn't wait until the end of the week to identify problems. He scrutinized each test result in real time. In the end, That methodical discipline led to a breakthrough powertrain efficiency that helped distinguish Tesla in a saturated automotive market. Concluding this point, it's evident that self-discipline acts as a powerful engine for incremental progress. Every day, each consistent step builds a compounding advantage. It's easy to lose focus amid mounting tasks, but remembering how small and disciplined actions led to exponential improvements can help you stick to your commitments, even the toughest moments. As historian Will Durant once paraphrased Aristotle, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, not but a habit. It's that habit rooted in discipline that allows us to push boundaries in ways we never imagined possible. Now, let's shift gears into a storytelling perspective. Years ago, a young entrepreneur I knew was developing a software platform designed to streamline logistics for small businesses. He had a compelling story. His parents ran a modest import shop, and their livelihood depended on consistent deliveries. One missed shipment could cascade into financial chaos. Motivated by his childhood memories of seeing his parents struggle, he set out to build a more transparent, efficient solution to the situation, refining his platform day after day. But challenges began to mount when early adopters found multiple bugs. Several small businesses were losing traffic shipments to show up in the system. Instead of getting discouraged, he rallied his small team to tackle each glitch methodically. Night after night, they combed through the code, searching for the root causes, often sleeping in the office. Their biggest challenge was the temptation to give up or pivot to something easier. However, they pressed on, ultimately fixing every major glitch and stabilizing the platform. Through that grit, they discovered a vital lesson. The difference between success and failure often hinges on that capacity to remain disciplined under constant strain. In the end, they gained loyal customers who witnessed the dedication firsthand. Loyalty became the foundation upon which the startup expanded. The lesson here is profound. Every heroic tale includes hardship that tests the protagonist's fortitude. Without a moment that challenges your deepest reserves of discipline, the story lacks depth, and so does your growth. The entrepreneur in this story built empathy with his users by showing them he cared enough to address their problems at any hour. The audience connection is clear. Each of us can relate to feeling overwhelmed by setbacks. When we persist and hold firmly to our commitments, people notice, they become invested in our success because they see the authenticity of our dedication. As for the moral, you discover that your challenges can transform into stepping stones if you approach them with unwavering discipline. When you look back, you'll see that the very hardships you once cursed are the ones that forge your capabilities. It's a universal truth that resonates in every field of endeavor. Next, let's proceed with an analytical perspective on discipline, highlighting some data and market trends. According to various research studies, startups that maintain consistent operational practices, such as regular performance reviews and methodical project tracking, have a substantially higher chance of surviving their first 5 years. One analysis from CB Insights shows that a lack of focus and the inability to follow structured processes rank among the top reasons for startup failure. On a macro level, markets are increasingly rewarding companies that demonstrate reliability. In the tech sector, investors scrutinize metrics like customer retention rates, burn rates, and iteration cycles. Startups that exhibit disciplined adherence to their product roadmaps often see more stable valuations as stakeholders trust their ability to deliver results. Another key point is the psychological angle. Employees, especially younger generations, gravitate toward organizations that they preach. They want to see real accountability and follow through from leadership. Depth research further indicates that teams working under disciplined leadership experience less burnout and have higher job satisfaction. Consistent approach builds an environment of trust where innovation can flourish because people aren't worried about disorganized chaos. The practical application is clear. If you're running a tech startup, create systems that hold you accountable. Use daily or weekly metrics, track your progress, and own your shortfalls. A disciplined approach signals to everyone involved, teammates, customers, and investors, that you're here for the long run. As you refine your processes, you'll likely notice more predictable outcomes, which in turn elevate confidence. This kind of approach also points the way to the future. Markets moving faster than ever and technology evolving at a breakneck pace. Only those who remain disciplined in continuous improvement can keep up. Looking ahead, expect an even greater emphasis on reliability and trustworthiness in an era dominated by rapid digital transformation. By building a foundation of discipline now, you're preparing yourself for that next wave of technological challenges. As Peter Drucker famously said, what gets measured gets managed. If you measure your adherence to the commitments that matter, you'll manage them more effectively and position yourself to thrive in whatever tomorrow holds. For the fourth key point, we move into a more interactive realm. Consider a thought exercise. A moment in the future when you accomplish that one big goal you're currently pursuing, be it launching your own company, scaling an existing product, or achieving a personal milestone. Visualize the specific scenario where you are, what you're doing, the people around you, and immerse yourself in the emotions of success. Now, imagine that between you and that future moment lie 100 small decisions that each require discipline. Perhaps you have to wake up early every morning to polish your pitch deck. You must repeatedly reach out to potential customers to refine your product. The challenge is that discipline in these small moments can feel tedious, and it's easy to lose sight of that shining goal when faced with daily grind. In a group discussion at SpaceX, once asked engineers and technicians to share the biggest obstacles preventing them from meeting our aggressive launch schedules. Their answers range from delays in shipping parts to unforeseen design flaws in the rocket's engine. The collective experience revealed that each obstacle was navigable if confronted with consistent discipline actions. We practiced experience sharing, where each person recounted a time they had to sacrifice personal comfort for the sake of mission success. Raw honesty, these conversations reminded everyone that each sacrifice was not in vain. It was a critical link in the chain leading to successful launches. Initiated direct practice by introducing short daily check-ins to track progress on each specific bottleneck. Teams reported daily status updates, not just for management oversight, keep themselves accountable to one another. The results were remarkable. Tasks that had languished for weeks were resolved rapidly as small teams took ownership of commitments. This leads us to a valuable learning summary. Discipline thrives when it's shared. If you can cultivate an environment where each person knows the bigger vision and understands how the disciplined actions feed into that vision, you amplify the power of commitment many times over. When individuals see their contribution matters, they become even more committed. Community support turns personal discipline from a lonely struggle into a collective triumph. That collaborative sense of purpose is what galvanizes teams to stay the course when fatigue sets in. As an ancient proverb states, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's only 20 words, but those words capture the essence of what disciplined teamwork can achieve. Finally, let's examine discipline in a problem-solving context. The core challenge we're addressing is that grit and persistence wane when challenges accumulate or when results aren't immediate. The root cause is often a lack of long-term perspective. Many entrepreneurs or ambitious leaders get impatient, expecting quick wins, and become discouraged when confronted with repeated failures or delays. The solution proposals come down to creating incremental goals that build toward a larger vision, combined with regular check-ins to ensure you haven't veered off track. Effective action plan might involve dividing a year into quarters, each quarter focusing on a major milestone. Within those milestones, outline weekly tasks, each with a measurable outcome. For example, you're building a new technology product. Your quarter milestone might be finishing alpha testing. The weekly tasks could include setting up user testing sessions, collecting feedback, and revising features. Another element of the action plan is establishing success metrics. These metrics don't merely measure how many tasks get done. They gauge how effectively tasks align with the overarching goal. You may track user satisfaction for iteration or measure how many hours you dedicated to focused product development. By mapping these data points onto a timeline, you gain visibility into whether you're slipping. If discipline starts to erode, you'll see it reflected in your metrics before the problem becomes insurmountable. This leads to a final insight. The more transparent you are about your progress, the easier it is to maintain discipline. By sharing updates publicly, within your team, your community, or even on a social platform, you create external accountability that fortifies your inner resolve. Everyone knows what you intend to accomplish, and by when you feel a stronger obligation to follow through. This synergy between personal and collective discipline is what allows big dreams to materialize. As management thinker Jim Collins once said, discipline is the greatest form of self-love. It is ignoring current pleasure for bigger rewards to come. When you hold on to that vision of bigger rewards, you can push through the tedious or painful steps required along the way, knowing each action is a building block for something magnificent. As we bring these 5 dimensions together, discovery, storytelling, analysis, interaction, problem solving, we see that self-discipline is not an abstract concept or mere willpower. It's a practice shaped by every decision we make, every relationship we foster, and every system we implement. Now, let's look ahead and craft a vision of what this could mean for each of us in the future. Imagine that you apply the lesson we've discussed, setting incremental goals, building accountability, turning failures into data points for improvement, and sustaining belief even when results don't come immediately. Over time, you'll see your projects gain momentum. Perhaps you'll scale your startup from bare-bones operation in a small shared office to thriving enterprise that transforms an entire industry. Maybe you'll see an idea that once existed only in your imagination become a product or service that resonates with millions of people around the world. On a broader scale, we can anticipate a landscape in which discipline becomes more critical than ever. Rapid technological advancements will demand that we keep learning and adapting. Only those with consistent determination will be able to navigate the changes in AI, biotech, energy, or any other sector shaped tomorrow's economy. Disciplined innovators, those who can stick to a plan yet remain adaptable, will stand at the forefront, reaping not just financial rewards, but also making a real impact on societal progress. This perspective leads to a challenge to take a moment to revisit the commitments you've made in your personal and professional life. Are there areas where you've let your discipline slip because the hurdles seem too tall? Now is the time to reignite that determination and reestablish a rigorous schedule. Challenge yourself to reclaim a sense of ownership of your dreams. Write down your goals, break them into manageable parts, and identify a few markers to keep track of your progress. The act of writing something down and sharing it with the people who matter in your life is a powerful ritual, effectively locking in your commitment to see it through. I want you to feel supported on this journey because discipline, though personal, thrives in a communal setting. Surround yourself with people who help keep you on track, whether that's a mentor, a group of colleagues, or friends who believe in your vision. Offer them your unwavering support too. This isn't a one-way street. Mutual encouragement elevates everyone's capacity to remain disciplined. If you see a teammate struggling, step in with empathy and practical solutions, reminding them why you're all in this together. If you find yourself leaning away from your commitments, reach out, confide your concerns, and let someone else bolster your resolve. Shared support goes a long way in transforming discipline from something that feels harsh and grueling into a more uplifting collective force. As an example, at Tesla and SpaceX, I've observed how small gestures, such as celebrating minor achievements or sending a quick, "Good job today, I know it was tough" message, can do wonders for back in a sense of mutual morale. That sense is often the invisible glue that everything together, ensuring that promises are kept and that deadlines are met. Let me add my personal commitment here as well. I stand in front of you not just as someone delivering a speech, as a fellow traveler on the challenging road toward unwavering discipline. I've grappled with lapses in my own discipline many times, and I've learned that the struggle never truly goes away. Every new project innovatively presents new obstacles that test my endurance. So I vow to keep refining my systems for accountability, to keep listening to team feedback, and to remain transparent about the obstacles we face. I'm inviting you to do the same in your respective fields. The more of us who decide to show up each day with that disciplined mindset, the more we collectively move the needle for humanity. Each person honors their commitments, even when it's tough. The ripple effect is immeasurable. Breakthroughs happen faster, partnerships deepen, and the larger mission stands a stronger chance of succeeding. As we reach the end of this journey together, I want to leave you with a spark of inspiration that transcends any one industry or project. The day will come when your discipline is fully tested, and you'll stand at a crossroads. Do you continue forward? In those defining moments, remember everything we've explored today. Recall the stories of perseverance, the data that underscores the value of a structured approach, the sense of shared endeavor you can tap into, and the methodical strategies that turn grand visions into tangible successes. Remind yourself that it's in these challenging junctures that character is formed and destiny is shaped. Commit to forging ahead with steadfast discipline. Carry that commitment forward and watch how it transforms both you and the people who look to you for leadership and inspiration. Thank you for sharing this time with me. And may we all grow stronger and disciplined as we work to shape a better future, one promise at a time.